We look at the followers of cults, at the masses screaming the name of a dictator, or the fanatics willing to die for a cause we don't understand, and we ask ourselves the same comfortable question: how can they be so stupid? This is a dangerous mistake. It is an arrogant mistake. Intelligence has nothing to do with it. Doctors, lawyers, scientists, and generals have all fallen under the spell of charismatic leaders. To think you are immune because you are smart is exactly what makes you vulnerable. The truth is, brainwashing is not magic. It is biology. It is the systematic hacking of the human operating system. We are social animals, wired by millions of years of evolution to seek a tribe, to seek a hierarchy, and to seek a savior. The cult leader, the master manipulator, does not create something new. He simply unlocks a door that is already inside you. Today, we are going to dismantle the mechanics of dark charisma. We are going to analyze the 5 precise phases used to convert a rational human being into a fanatic. This is not about religion, it is about power. It is about the architecture of the human mind and how it can be rewired. By the end of this video, you will understand the playbook. You will see the strings, and once you see them, you can never unsee them. Phase 1. Love bombing, the mirror of perfection. The first phase of control is seduction. In the world of dark psychology, this is known as love bombing, but do not mistake this for affection. It is a strategic bombardment of validation. When a predator identifies a target, they do not attack. They reflect. The most effective cult leaders are human mirrors. They study you. They find your insecurities, your hidden desires, and your perceived lack of worth. And then, they reflect back to you an image of yourself that is perfect, understood, and validated. Imagine a world where you are constantly judged, ignored, or undervalued in your daily life. Now, imagine a person, or a group, who looks at you with absolute fascination. They tell you that you are special, that you have potential no one else sees, that you are one of the few capable of understanding the truth. This creates a massive dopamine spike in the brain, identical to the rush of narcotics. You feel high. You feel seen. For the first time, you feel complete. The leader is not selling a product. He is selling you a better version of yourself. This phase is designed to lower your defenses. You cannot be critical of someone who treats you like a god. You begin to associate the leader with this feeling of euphoria. You become addicted to their attention. Historically, this is how every great manipulator begins. They do not start with demands. They start with gifts. They offer a sense of belonging so intense that it overrides your logical centers. But remember, this love is transactional. It is the bait on the hook. And once you bite, the line begins to tighten. Phase 2. Isolation, the island of the mind. Once the target is hooked on the dopamine of validation, the leader must ensure that no one else can compete for that influence. This brings us to Phase 2. Isolation. You cannot brainwash a person who has a strong support network. If you tell a follower something irrational, and they go home to a skeptical spouse or a rational friend, the spell is broken. The reality check is the enemy of the cult. Therefore, the reality check must be eliminated. This is rarely done by force. It is done by reframing. The leader begins to paint the outside world as toxic, ignorant, or dangerous. Your family doesn't understand your potential, they say. Your friends are holding you back. They are jealous of your growth. The leader creates a narrative where the only place you are truly safe and truly understood is within the group. Slowly, the follower cuts ties. They stop answering calls. They skip family holidays. They drift away from old friends. This is strategic suffocation. By cutting off external sources of information and affection, the leader becomes the sole provider of reality. The follower becomes an island, and the leader is the only boat allowed to dock. When you are isolated, your perspective warps. You lose your baseline for what is normal. The abnormal becomes standard because it is the only thing you see. Isolation turns the leader's voice into the voice of God, simply because it is the only voice left in the room. Phase 3. Us vs. Them, the tribal trap. Now that the target is isolated and addicted to the group, the leader cements their loyalty by creating an enemy. This is phase 3, the us versus them mentality. Human beings are tribal. We are evolutionarily coded to protect our tribe and fear the outsider. The master manipulator exploits this ruthlessly. He draws a circle in the sand. Inside the circle is the truth, the light, the elite, or the saved. Outside the circle is the darkness, the ignorant, the damned. By defining a terrifying or contemptible enemy, the leader binds the group together. Nothing unifies a group faster than a common threat. This creates a moral superiority complex. The follower feels special, chosen, and enlightened. This phase is critical because it justifies cruelty and obedience. If the outside world is evil, then anything the leader asks you to do to protect the group is good. It shuts down critical thinking. If you question the leader, you are sounding like them. To doubt is to betray. You see this in political extremism, in high-control corporate environments, and in spiritual sects. The language changes, but the mechanic is the same. We are the only ones who know the truth. This arrogance is a cage. It makes leaving the group feel like stepping into hell. It traps the follower in a prison of their own superiority. Phase 4. Intermittent reinforcement, the casino effect. The fourth phase is the lock. This is what turns a follower into a fanatic who will never leave, even when they are abused. It is called intermittent reinforcement. In the beginning, during the love bombing phase, the validation was constant. But once the follower is isolated and committed, the leader changes the rules. The praise stops being guaranteed. It becomes unpredictable. Sometimes the leader is kind and loving. Other times he is cold, cruel, or indifferent. The follower never knows what they are going to get. This is the exact psychological mechanism behind gambling addiction. B.F. Skinner, a behavioral psychologist, discovered that if you give a rat a pellet of food every time it presses a lever, it presses it only when hungry. But if you give the food randomly, sometimes yes, sometimes no, the rat will press the lever until it dies of exhaustion. The uncertainty creates an obsession. The follower spends every waking moment trying to figure out how to get that high of approval back. What did I do wrong? How can I please him? When the leader finally gives a crumb of praise after a period of cruelty, the relief is so intense that it bonds the follower even deeper to the abuser. This is the trauma bond. The source of the pain becomes the only source of the cure. Phase 5. The test of faith. Escalation of commitment. There is one final phase that seals the door shut, the test. This relies on a psychological principle called the escalation of commitment. A leader never asks for total obedience on day 1. He asks for small things, a small donation, a small secret, a minor sacrifice. Once you say yes to the small thing, your brain justifies it. I did it because I believe in the cause. Then the asks get bigger. Sell your house, cut off your children, commit a crime, because you have already invested so much. Your time, your money, your relationships, you cannot turn back. To turn back now would be to admit that you were wrong for years. The human ego hates to admit it has been fooled. So instead of leaving, you dig deeper. You double down. The leader will eventually demand a test of faith, an act that burns your bridges with the outside world. Once you commit this act, you are theirs forever. You have no home to go back to. You have burned the ships. Conclusion. Breaking the spell. Love bombing. Isolation. Us versus them. Intermittent reinforcement. Escalation. These are not random events. They are the gears of a machine designed to strip you of your autonomy. From the charismatic CEO, to the toxic partner, to the spiritual guru, the playbook remains the same. Why did we analyze this today? Not so you can build a cult, but so you can recognize one. We live in a world of information warfare. Everyone is fighting for real estate in your mind. Charisma is a weapon. It can be used to lead, or it can be used to enslave. The only defense against it is to see the mechanism behind the smile. Stay cold. Stay analytical. and never let anyone own your reality. This is apex logic.